My name's Alex Foster and this is Gary Evans. So thank you for today. We'll run through this today. As I said, any questions, we're happy to take those at the end and go through. It is quite detailed. We'll try and move through this a little bit of pace because it is quite detailed and quite technical. Some of the slides. But we'll just talk to the general points of those there. So,
and again, at any stage, we will be sharing this presentation at the end. So again, if there's any questions at a later date, you're welcome to contact us afterwards as well.
Okay, so just about EV charging systems. So we've been around for a while. Division of Foster's. So we're WA based in O'Connor here. Preferred supplier on the Walga panel. WA owned and operated. You're talking to the owner and the director of the electrical engineer and the team. So fairly large team, around 40 odd staff and support team for EV charging systems and Foster's. So commercial background and basis. But EV charging systems, specialised divisions, specialised team members, techs, service personnel, engineers looking after EV charging infrastructure throughout Western Australia. A little bit of our capability statement there. We've partnered up over the years with a number of major European and Australian brands, and that's what we support. So it's about being able to support products and quality infrastructure,
so that we can get the parts and support you going forward as well.
Yeah. All right. So our vision is to be the installer of choice for EV charging products in Western Australia, and obviously, leading business towards zero emissions. That's pretty important. So we produce tailored EV charging solutions to the market from conception to turnkey, working towards net zero and outstanding customer service, as I said, quality European and Australian solutions, and of course, supporting the WA government initiatives across a number of different sectors to uptake EV charging infrastructure.
When we started this business, that was one of the key things that we thought, well, there's going to be a lot of LGAs that are going to be looking to do that, and we want to be here to support you.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move straight into the product selection guide. So as Melanie said, they've gone through quite a rigorous panel of selections. So we've gone with the Kempower and the Tritium solutions. These are DC charging solutions, and as you'll see, they are modular and scalable. So there's two different options in this area. They both have their different advantages and their different capacity sizes of scalability. So the Kempower range, you can grow past the 50 kilowatt by adding different modules. The Tritium range, you can grow up to 75 kilowatt. So in terms of DC charging, these are your bigger rapid chargers.
Yeah, Tritium do have bigger chargers. We just haven't put it into this this presentation.
Yeah. Okay, so standard features of the Kempower. So it's got a C station. Okay, it's a combined charging units. There's different voltage outputs and options. We will work with you to have a look at your fleet and your future provisions. As I said, it just depends on your setup there.
Yeah. Because if it's just passenger vehicle, excuse me, 500 volt is fine. But if we're going to eventually be looking for a bus or a truck or anything that requires that little bit extra kick, you're going to need the 800 volt charger. So, and that would be something that we would ask you about as part of the scope of what your future looks like in this space.
Yeah. So there are some, as I said, it is modular and scalable. There's some power output options for that. So we're starting at 50 kilowatt in that range. That's what's been offered up through while we're there, and you can add units on to eventually go up to 200 kilowatt from that. So the CCS2, which is the DC charging lead, and there is support from the CHAdeMO charging leads. But we'd probably be recommending that CCS2 is the standardised lead across, because the CHAdeMO has a very small uptake throughout Western Australia and Australia.
It's only got a few cars like the Nissan Leaf and that. But again, this does depend on what you're doing. If you're going to go with the Nissan Leaf, well, CHAdeMO is one that will definitely be something you're going to require. But the going forward, it looks like the CCS2 is like your Apple versus your Android. It's probably a 90 to 10 in ratio of what charger typical charger uses.
Okay. It's the Kempower unit. That's the C series. Then we have the Kempower T series. It's a portable and a movable charging unit. It can also be fixed to the ground. So again, this is fully weatherproof, just like the C series previous. It's set at 40 kilowatt. We can derate it down to 20 kilowatt to use on a smaller power supply. So it can be run from a plug or socket, from 32 amp three-phase socket or a 63 amp socket. It is cloud connectivity. As I said, it's again comes in two configurations: 500 volt DC for just passenger vehicles, or if you are using a depot location, we can look at the 800 volt option for that as well. As I said, wireless software updates, you know, a robust wheel and chassis, 2-year warranty onwards. Quite a good compact unit. If you just look over Gary's shoulder there, we've actually got that that on display here in the room here. So we've actually got that inside our training and our room. So
it's about 120 kilos, but it's pretty easy to move once you get it up and going.
Yeah, so it's quite a good solution. So suitable for fixed applications. You can remove the wheels and you can bolt it down, or it is suitable for use in a workshop or depot or different locations there. Okay, quite universal. Again, it has fully serviceable with parts, modular components, and fully backed with service and maintenance for the team. So we look at the Tritium range of DC chargers. Okay, the Tritium RTM 75. We've gone with a 50 kilowatt loaded module. It is a Tritium RTM 75, so it is capable of doing 75 kilowatts of DC charging, but we've selected the 50 kilowatt modules fitted in this at the moment. So you can scale and grow that later on with another module. Okay, it doesn't grow and scale as big as the C series unit, but it is quite a robust charger with a small footprint. Some great options for graphics and personalization as well. Made in Australia. Okay, 2-year warranty. Service maintenance is very good on the unit. EV charging systems are also authorized Tritium partners and field service providers. So full backing and support on this unit, the same as the Kempower, but full backing and support on this unit as well. Okay, so it's a little bit different compared to the Kempower. It has a liquid cooling system in it, hence the smaller footprint, so it is quite compact.
Yeah, and with this one, the 50 is again probably enough, but again, if you do have the power for it, it's just a module that you order and pretty much put in to get it up to a 75. So there's really not much to do other than purchase the module and get it installed to turn that into a 75 kilowatt charger.
Okay, and the Tritium RTM 75 and the C series, they do what is called charger splitting. So they do split the capacity across. If there's 2 vehicles charging at the same time, they will split the capacity across. And that will, of course, vary on the capacity of the battery in the vehicle and the state of charge of that vehicle. Okay, yeah. So a 50 kilowatt charger is not exactly 25 kilowatt to car A and car B if they're charging at the same time. It all depends on the state of level of the car and the vehicle. So the charger is smart enough to talk to the vehicles and sort that out there. Okay.
Yeah. So again, your capacity, what you've got on the switchboard, will determine whether you can do that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So here we talk about modular and scalability. This is just talking about the Tritium unit. As you can see, there's an internal view there of the different modules that fit into the Tritium unit. You can see the 3 top modules are your power modules, DC power modules. Okay, they're added in there. It's quite a good unit, fully supported, fully serviced. We have fully trained, factory trained technicians here based in Western Australia, looking after Tritium units. It's nationally supported with on-call service as well for Tritium as well with us there.
As part of the 2-year warranty, yeah, you get that as part of that service.
Yeah. All right. So it's quite flexible, and as I said, it's quite a neat, clean unit. Okay. Integrates with charge point operators, which we'll talk about afterwards, and all those type of things there. So quite a good dashboard. We'll move into those in a minute there. So the AC products. So that was just a brief overview of the DC products. We do have some more technical data sheets. We're quite happy to share those. And as I said, we're quite happy to come and have a look and touch and feel of the products and go through those. There's no problem with those there at all. So the AC products, on the AC side, there's your Schneider Electric, the EV AC Pro, and the EV Box. So both of those models on display here behind us, and they've got different features for different situations and locations. All right, so we'll start with the EV-Link AC charging range. Okay, this is a Schneider product made in Europe, well supported in Australia. EV charging systems, Schneider Eco-Expert partners. So again, we're factory trained, have full support from Schneider Electric International in regards to these. Spare parts, they are modular, they can go together in different configurations. You can get full metal kits like this one behind us. You can have them on pedestals. So there's a number of accessories. So they're quite a robust charger there.
Single or dual, you can turn them. This charger here has another charger on the back of it, so that's a dual pedestal.
There's different configurations. So again, we'll work with you to look at where you want to site your charging infrastructure, and we'll help you select the best product in the range that you wish to go for to suit that application. So again, we're there for you to help you through this step and this process. Fully smart, full smarts on that, RFID cards, capabilities and access, and different programming provisions there. All right. So the EV Box business line, this is a European charger, very robust, simple to use charger, but a good robust product, installed in a number of sites throughout to Western Australia and Australia, and many sites throughout Europe. So it's made in the Netherlands, this charging unit here. There's different options again for this and different configurations of how they sit together on the pedestal, or the charging infrastructure is laid out. There is no touchscreen on this model. Again, it's great for car park locations. Standalone data connectivity and arrangement. There's no need for any IoT of services to the charging units. Capable of being a satellite hub arrangement, so a number of chargers can be run off the one smart first charger. Okay, there's different options as well in terms of load management interface with this solution. So very robust charger, very reliable, and again, parts service fully available and fully supported by EV charging systems here in Perth. So we look after these units. So the warranty period as well, 3+ year warranty available on this unit as well. So they're the AC charging range. As I said, there is a number of configurations, accessories that go with those. Again, that's really got to look at your location, your locations where you wish to put these, and your site requirements. So we're just going to touch very briefly on site requirements. We know there has been some audits already conducted of your site power supplies and your sites as part of this ARENA funding process, which is fantastic. But this is where they start to come into play now about the suitability of the equipment to place in those locations and how they're configured. So I won't touch too much on these, but remember you did your power analysis and your site inspections. You had a contractor come out and do those as part of the funding. This is where it starts to come into play of the equipment suited for that location. If you haven't had that done, or you do change your locations, you can have a talk to us. We can help you out in that regard.
Or if your switchboard, you've got, it's changed since you did your last one, or if you, you're using a different switchboard, again, that might not have the capacity or have plenty. So again, we can have a look at that.
Yeah. The other things to examine as well, your bay locations, if there's trees in the area, your CCTV, the facilities nearby, and the civil requirements and things like that. So that's always important to keep there. Future expansion as well. As I said, these charges are expandable and the systems are expandable. So the expansion of what we'd like to do in the future is always a good consideration.
And when you're considering your build, if you've got massive tree roots that we've got to sort of get through as well, that can be an issue, and just be mindful of all that sort of stuff as well.
The other infrastructure to consider as well, you also might have to get your teams on board in terms of data networks. There's fixed or wireless solutions, your asphalt, your bitumen works for your car park areas, basket tray, ductway, some of the cabling out to these chargers is rather larger to install, so they will have to be thought about. Pedestals, as I said, mounting accessories, how we're going to mount those chargers in car parks or walls or locations, signage and your bollards, okay, and your bay marking as well. So just your finishing touches, have a think about that as well. We can assist you with those and preferred layouts and different arrangements there. You might undertake this in-house with your own teams. There's no problem with that. That's all, again, working towards achieving a good charging solution for the LGAs. So just want to touch on this little side here, load management systems. As we said before, some of the charging infrastructure, as we've talked about, your DC charging infrastructure and your AC charging infrastructure, power-wise, it can pull a lot of power, okay, to use these bits of equipment. And yes, you have had your site assessments done, so there's several of these locations, but we also have to consider the future and other building loads. So we start to look at some load management systems that work with these chargers and a little bit about load management. Again, being future-proof, it's not now, it might be in 6 months' time or a year's time when you wish to add another charger. How do we talk and how do we interact with that charger? And we have to just take that into consideration when we're designing up or laying out your initial equipment. So there's different solutions. So I'll go a little bit on this very, very briefly. Again, we'll put this presentation out, and I do have a little video to show you all. Hopefully that'll play through. So there's two different types of load management. It's called static or dynamic. Okay, so very simply, static is you say the charger will consume this much power. This is what we have available on the site. This is what the charger has to work towards and talk to. Okay, so these devices regulate the output of the charger according to the time of day, in line with the WA charge up grants from the 5 p.m. to the 9 p.m. Constraints, or your building loads. So even though vehicle charging is very important to keep your staff on the road, it's not as important as making sure the administration centre still is functioning and staff are happy.
Got aircon on a 45-degree day.
Yeah, so that's the important thing. So you've got to have a little think about that in the bigger picture there. There might have also been some additional loads put onto some of your distribution boards and site locations since your studies were completed. That's something else to take into consideration. So by the use of software and some different devices, there is what's called load management. So static is when you have a fixed value and the charger and the site power is fixed at a certain level and it works within those parameters. Dynamic is where the system and the charger look at the power available on the site. It might be a sunny day and you have more solar feeding back into your site, so there's more power available to allow faster charging across the DC and the AC charging infrastructure. Again, it also regulates that 5 to 9 p.m. under the WA charge up grants requirements. So this is what dynamic is. It is real live, real-time interaction with the charging equipment. And it does allow for increased capacity on charging. So for example, if you're charging your pool of fleet cars at night, instead of being assigned a set value and that is it, if at night the power supply for your site reduces, you have more capacity for charging your vehicles. Therefore, they will charge faster in a different method compared to the daytime. So there's all these different advantages of that. We will put some presentations around on this as well, and there's a little video coming up. So this is just this is a Schneider Electric video. Please ignore the brand. The principle is what we're looking at on this video here. So it's the key principles of what EV charging does and the dynamic and static loading. So this is the Schneider Electric LMS or load management system dynamic solution, and it just runs you through how it works. Again, this is common to the other types of load management solutions we'll show you very shortly.
So coming across okay? escape.
Mhm.
Oh. Yeah, just hit the slideshow again.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so that was the Schneider system. I won't go through that too much again, but that is basically the Schneider LMS system or load management system. So there's one solution when using the Schneider AC Pro range of chargers. They'll work together as a network and a group, and they regulate their charging between vehicles. But as I said, the principle applies to across all these different LMS solutions that we're going to just pass through. So the other option we have is called the Flex OCCP for Charge Hub. So this interacts with the Charge Hub software offering, which Melanie has talked about, and we'll show you afterwards. This actually operates across DC and AC charging equipment. Again, it's another type of solution that again depends on your site and your site infrastructure. We will share some more information on this with you. But it communicates across the OCCP, which is the data network platform between the charger, the site switchboard, and the cloud to ensure that that charger is regulated according to your building loads. It's quite a smart bit of software and load management solution, and you also do get some ability to look at live dashboards of the power usage of your building as well from this integration. Okay, there's a bit of a snapshot of some of the loading of the building and part of the setup with charging. So this will control the whole site back to a main site switchboard and the multiple charging DC units across the site and AC units. The EVBox business line, which is the other AC solution we talked about, which is just behind us there. There's also another load management solution that's suitable for use with that. Again, these solutions will depend on your application if you need these, and they're different solutions to suit these applications. Again, a flexible unit. It does talk back to the Charge Hub software, regulates the charger for daytime loading patterns like the 9 to 5 pattern, and is quite flexible and modular in its location as well.
So the thing to consider with all these is that obviously we're going to have to get your IT departments involved as well, as that can be problematic if we don't coordinate it with them.
Yeah, so they can be standalone, so they come on a 4G SIM arrangements and modems, or we can integrate them back into your IT networks. It just depends which way you'd like to go, or that site would like to go. So when we're talking about DC chargers as well, there's also some software that come on these major DC chargers. So this is DC charger management, both the Tritium and the Kempower units. So the Kempower unit has what's called ChargeEye Basic, is some basic dashboarding ability of charging sessions, some integrations with the charger, and some diagnostic packs that it runs and we can access. So some of these tools we access and use to maintain your charging equipment. Alerts for service. If there is an issue or a fault, you do want to recover some records from charging stations and for certain periods. This is some of the digital tools that we'll utilize, and you do also have access to these tools as well. We can change different settings and names on the chargers and the configurations on the displays on the Kempower range and the DC chargers. Remote firmware updates completed with the chargers as well. It's all automatic, so it's always up to date with the latest firmware. Again, it's part of the reporting and the diagnostics tool. So if there is an issue with your charging equipment, we'll actually know about it before you necessarily know about it. So, we know what the solution is and what part is required or what fix we have to enable with that charger with you.
Which is also part of the software, which we'll run through later as well.
Okay, there's a few other options under the Kempower range as well. There is some vehicle fleet management. Even though the Charge Hub will have an overall fleet management, you can drill down to an individual charger type scenario with the Kempower software that comes with the units. So Tritium Pulse, another diagnostic tool. This is based on a per charger scenario. Again, it's a diagnostic tool that we can communicate with the charger. We can interrogate the charger and see if there's any issues, any charging history, any other scenarios like that.
We can reset it online as well.
Reset it online
if there's an issue at site.
So this is a standalone. Again, if you had a standalone charger, this is a standalone piece of software that lives with that charger and is part of that charger.
Part of that 2-year warranty, you get that as part of that.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a dashboard there for a few sample chargers there. Okay, different serial numbers. If you have multiple sites, you'll have multiple Tritium chargers across a number of sites. You'd have these up in your common dashboard, and we'll be able to see some of your connector statuses and your different options there. So this is really just the proprietary or the Tritium platform. Again, the software we'll be talking about shortly is ChargeHub, is your charge point operator software that oversees your charging network and your interaction with the public. So this communicates to that software package. Just a little bit more of the Tritium dashboard, and it gives you some configurations there. Okay, now we get to ChargeHub, which is our software offering for WA local government and this project. We maintain and monitor ChargeHub throughout Western Australia. It is a Queensland-based company. Again, the director and the founder of that company is an electrical engineer and a specialist in EV charging and software. We work very closely with ChargeHub, and we've partnered up with our rollout of ChargeHub throughout all of our monitored charging solutions throughout Western Australia.
And as we've gone like over the last couple of years with ChargeHub, we've actually developed it into what it is today. So if we can see something that, and you ask us, hey, it would be great if the software did this, we go back to the owner of that business and we talk to him and say, hey, let's have a look at it and see if we can put this into it, and he develops it. So that's the advantage of that.
So what this software does is the overall control of the charging infrastructure for your particular site. It is your payment platforms and your gateways, and it monitors your charging infrastructure. It's easy to use. There's an app interface for driver and public use. RFID cards and control is set up as well for fleet or staff use, and there's different levels and settings and configurations we can do. So we can also set the transaction rates for customer usage, and obviously if staff are included or fleet are included, there's different rates and different tariffs that we can set. We can also, with the load management solutions, it also oversees and manages the load management solutions, and that data from the chargers feeds back in real time, and it also puts out data back to the chargers to change the status and reconfiguration. So there is centralized dashboards. You can see the status of your chargers across your AC and DC networks. It pulls all of the systems together. You can remote reset, you can interrogate, you can see the usage, and it also provides the full suite of reporting for your charging infrastructure as part of the ARENA funding requirements and the WA ChargeHub requirements for usage. So asset manager as well, your charging infrastructure, it's not just an electric vehicle charger, is going to become a piece of your asset for your site. Again, we monitor these assets in real time. It's live. In our office here in O'Connor, we have a live dashboard where we're remotely monitoring the chargers, and the heartbeat of each charger is coming back, giving a status of its usage and its functionality. So we're keeping an eye on your charging infrastructure. Again, if there's an issue, we will notify you and let you know straight away. And you can also receive alerts on that charging infrastructure. The LGAs as well as part of this package, you also get access to dashboards and usage, fleet usage as well. Okay, so this is called the asset manager, or the CSO portal access. So these are some of the dashboards that you'll be able to see for your chargers and infrastructure if you wish to use them. They're available for you there,
and we manage that. But again, you have the ability to have that dashboard as well. But yeah, if you don't really want to get into that detail, if you come back to us and say, hey, I just need this, we would be able to provide it for you.
Yeah. Okay. So you can use the dashboard to drill down into the specific charger, take out charging sessions and different details of, again, the particular vehicles, of how often they've been used, and different arrangements like that. So this is your fleet manager side, your portal access. Again, this is where we're just talking about drilling down and seeing your different fleet usage, your different reports and your activities. This is the type of reporting we can pull out of this for you and set up for you in that regard. So now we'll move on to preventative maintenance, chargers and LMS. Okay, look, the key is uptime with EV charging. When you want to use it, it must be working. LGAs, councils, staff's important to keep those staff on the road. It is important to make sure that a vehicle is charged and ready to go. It is an important tool of LGAs to go out and see the community and use that. And having charging infrastructure that is serviced, maintained, is very important and paramount.
Yeah, and we want to have that charger ready, so that you don't have that person that wants to drive that car going, see, I told you these weren't any good. You know what I mean? So we want to try and get that negative connotation of an EV out of the system, so that there's less hurdles in the way of people using the car.
So as I said, we have direct channels to the manufacturers, the partners we work with. We're factory trained. I just want to say AC and DC chargers, though, have different levels of maintenance, and you need to be aware of that. Again, working with Walga, we'll set up SLAs, or service level agreements, to make sure your preventative maintenance is covered off on these chargers outside of warranty and during warranty periods. Make sure this is covered off so they are fully operational, ready to go.
That's what happened with the early adopters. There was no sort of after the 2-year warranty period. It just was like, okay, well, what happens now? So now we have to have some sort of continual maintenance. Otherwise, it's a very expensive piece of equipment that's not getting looked at for 3 years. It's going to break.
So as I said, there is different types of charging maintenance. AC chargers have a different preventative maintenance routine to DC chargers. There's a few points about what happens on each type of charger for maintenance. I won't run through them individually. That is quite detailed. We'll also do a condition audit of your asset at the same time, so you know the condition of it. The stickers might be peeling off it, or the line markings faded. You might want to tidy these things up. Again, it's about that image and making sure that equipment is ready to go when you want it and your staff need it. There is some specified or specialist testing as well that takes place on the AC and the DC charging solutions and systems. Some RCD testing through the charger and some specialized tools. EV charging systems, we have all that, and we take that and use that as part of the annual preventative maintenance.
And we also have 10 EV chargers in our fleet, so it's more likely going to be an EV that we're going to test it on in the end anyway.
So yes, we actually use our electric vehicles to perform part of the testing on the chargers. As I said, DC EV charging maintenance, there is things over and above AC charging maintenance. An example of that might be, for example, the Tritium charging unit needs a coolant change every 5 years. Just like a vehicle, there is set OEM maintenance requirements. Okay, it's important to do those. So if we are sitting that charger outside in direct sunlight, 45-degree sunlight, for the next 10 years, we want to make sure that we do our coolant change when it's due. We want to make sure we replace our fans when the manual suggests that they're replaced and serviced. All these things are generally out of the warranty period, out of the 2-year plus. But there are certain different points in the charger's life where that maintenance has to be done. Software and firmware updates as well. A lot of those are over the air. We will check those to make sure that they are complete and are up to date as part of our annuals and preventative maintenance as well.
Sometimes, when we're on site, we will put a USB into the thing and put the latest upgrade as well if it can't be done online.
Yeah, so pretty flexible with that. But just wanted to highlight that there is a difference between the two. So load management and software maintenance, why does this have to be done? Well, if you do have a load management system installed, it's important to check that that is functioning correctly, is still installed the way it was commissioned and arranged with that charger. Has there been any building loads change, or has the switchboard been modified in the last couple of years since that equipment's gone in? It's important to be aware of that. And the other big one is your cyber security updates. Make sure that your software and your chargers and your load management systems are up to date. It is important to ensure that's up to date, especially in the IoT world of things these days. We'll talk about a few accessories. Everyone loves accessories. Look, there is different accessories for different chargers, and there is different options. Obviously, these are all extras onto the chargers, but let your imagination run wild. If you want a particular logo on a charger or something set up or arranged, these options are available there. Obviously, we'll have to talk to Melanie on the funding for the grant provision there, but yeah, there are options to change the colours, graphic skin kits, charging leads as well, bollards, different arrangements there, different options. Additional RFID cards is quite a common one. Yes, we can supply those in a number of different configurations, from little key tags to larger swipe cards. To a fob. So we can also integrate some sites with your actual staff badges for the chargers as well. Let's just touch very quickly on sustainability for EV charging systems. Just thought we'd finish with that. So just to let you know, Gary, what have we been up to?
Well, we're partnering with Carbon Positive Australia, and for every charger we install, we're going to donate the cost of planting a tree for everything we sell and install. So that's part of our commitment to the net zero pathway. Yep.
All right, so it's great to have be on board with them there. So it'd be fantastic to see a fair few trees planted for this project. And just about us, look, we're transitioning our fleet as well. So we're going through what a number of your LGAs and a number of you are going through with changing over to electric vehicles. We're already up to 10 electrics in our fleet now. It has been interesting. There's some great learnings from it. But we're running a dynamic LMS to our site power supply and our charger network at our office and location here in O'Connor. We have a large solar rooftop array, and we can see how it integrates with our charging. So look, we're across that. It's not just, we're putting in charging infrastructure and that's it. We're here, we understand, and we partake in that process as well. When we do come out, as Gary said before, when we do come out to service, to quote, to look at, to come and see you, we're doing that in EVs as well.
When we're going, what we've done basically what you're about to do. So if there's any questions, we'll get hopefully be able to help you with that.
All right, and as we said, look, we're happy to work with you for one-on-one bookings and consultations. Work with Melanie as well from Volga. Make sure your charging equipment is the right equipment for your site. There are lots of options. A silly question isn't a silly question. We're here to help you and work through that.
We've done presentations of EV 101 to some people, and it's you need to know the information, and we're here to help you with that. So hopefully that has given you something that you can go forward with.
Thanks so much, Alex and Gary. That was very informative and provided a good overview. I have also recorded the session for our local governments that couldn't attend today. There was a couple that couldn't come in, so we'll make sure we get the slides and the recording out to everybody. We're just opening up to questions for the last 20 minutes of our session. I'll just read out the ones online, and if there's any elaboration that's needed, feel free to unmute yourself. It's quite casual now. The first question from the Shire of Augusta Margaret River: will local governments be required to have 100% renewable power or green power in place for the vehicles? So that's one for me. Through ARENA, we have committed, it is a requirement of the grant program that the electric vehicles are powered by green power. and most of our local governments are part of the sustainable energy contract that was set up a few years ago. The ones that aren't are working with our commercial team or the energy supplier retailers directly to get that in place for the particular facilities where the charging infrastructure is going in place. So yes, that is a must. There's another question, are there any updates on BEV supplies in terms of likely lead times? So with that one, there have been the delays in a couple of different electric vehicle models. I think the BYD is not available for another 6 months or so. The Kona is not available until June next year. Some models are being discontinued and replaced with new models. Originally, when we started this project, we were looking at developing an aggregate purchase of BEVs for local government and establishing a preferred supplier panel for this. And this has been discontinued. And the reason for that is at the time, I mean, we started this project 18 months ago, the state government, CUA, didn't have many BEVs in their available vehicles to local governments. They now have a really good range of BEVs to purchase from on that panel. They provide significant savings already to local government. There's no stamp duty required, and there's already a discounted purchase price. So the establishment of that panel was no longer required. Brian is online from our commercial team. Brian, did you have any further comments on that?
Yeah, hi Mel. No further comments on that. The CUA addresses that need, but we'll need to work through with the state government in terms of lead times and with the different manufacturers in terms of where their lead times are at the moment.
Do you have any feedback on lead times from the CUA? I think we checked in a few weeks ago.
Yeah, nothing further since a few weeks ago, but we can, after this meeting, it would possibly be worthwhile us checking in again to get some sort of update on those lead times for the next 6 months.
Yeah. So as part of the full application, we received letters from each local government CEO that the budget for the BEV purchase had been approved by council, and most local governments are starting, if they haven't already, to look at what battery electric vehicle they'll be purchasing and starting that process for when our funding comes through, so that you can kick off straight away with the procurement process. Sorry, I think there's another few questions here. Just to comment that was a great session. Thank you, Gary and Alex.
Thank you.
All right, so from Dan at the City of Perth, we have our new electric vehicles that have arrived, and we need to start the process of installing the charging infrastructure sooner rather than later. So just a query about the process from here. So as soon as we hear back from ARENA on the 2nd of November, which is next Thursday, that's when the board's making the decision on our project. That's when we can start the procurement process for the charging infrastructure. So what we've done at the moment is have this information session with Alex and Gary so that local governments can get underway in considering what products they would like to select for the project. As soon as that funding comes through, I think I put next Friday as the deadline to get back to me with your requests on that spreadsheet of all the products that were listed. So that includes the hardware, software, ancillary items, and also maintenance. And that means that we can kick off hopefully by January next year if we can get some of this pre-ordering done. I think the lead time on product delivery is still 3 months, is it, Alex and Gary, from the order?
It depends on the product.
Yeah, it depends on the product. Yeah.
The bigger DC stuff might take a little bit longer, but again, depends on what you're looking at. In regards to the the build, we can do all that pre-quoting and all that sort of stuff prior anyway. The WA Charge Up Grant Round 2 is probably due to kick off any time in the next month or two at the very latest. So it's probably prudent to start getting your quotes ready even prior to that, the infrastructure sort of being approved and that. And then so if you really need to go, we're sort of ready to go as soon as the stock comes in, basically.
Yeah.
The other option we do have, especially for Dan, is the other side of EV charging systems. We do have some rental charges that are ready to go now. So if someone is really stuck, come and have a talk to us. We can help you out with a solution and get you going there in a DC option like the smaller unit, or the AC option. So there is that option. If someone's got their vehicles arrive and they're stuck, we're happy to help and work with you and help in that regard as well. So that's just another option there. If there is some vehicles arriving and you've got no charging, don't be flapping around. There is some solutions we can get in place for you to help you out. We're quite happy to help you with those. So.
Thank you. The project was meant to commence in July this financial year, but there were a couple of delays with the ARENA, with progressing through ARENA. So we've extended the deadline for the installation of charging infrastructure from June next year through to December next year. So it gives that extra 6 months. But we know that does go into the new financial year. So like I said, our priority is to get the majority of sites completed by June next year, so that it kind of fits in with that BEV ordering process. There's a question from Daniel: does the software link with TechOne so costings for power can go to the asset?
All right, I'll take that one. That's a bit more technical. What we'll do, Daniel, we'll reach out to Daniel and have a look at TechOne with him, and we should be able to get the API string, which is called the data string. We should be able to get the data string of that infrastructure to go to their software. So we'll have a little bit of a talk offline and see what we can integrate with that with you there. So
yeah, and if that's a thing for everyone, well, once we do that particular testing, then we can tell everyone that we can roll that out, as a thing we can do.
So there's different solutions there. So yeah, look, there's no problem with that. Again, in the AP world or the data world, there's all this information and data coming out, and we can push it in different directions.
Okay, wonderful. And then I think there were also some new product sheets for the Tritium charger, Alex and Gary, that I needed to distribute to the group for when they're considering their selection of hardware.
Yeah, the RT is no longer. The RTM is the one that's they're going forward with, RTM 50 or 75. Yeah.
So I'll send that out with the follow-up from this meeting.
Okay. Yeah, and as I said, if anyone does want to physically come and see the Tritium range and the Kempower range of chargers, we will have those available from the 7th of November onwards. We're happy to book in those.
So from the 7th of November onwards, they're at your office?
We have the Kempower and the AC units available, but the particular Tritium one we're getting in for the AEVA show. So that's going to be here for a sort of limited time. So yeah, if anyone wants to see that, they're welcome to, but it'll be over that particular week. We'd have to send it back after the trade show. Yeah, it's just so we can pull it apart. Obviously, a DC charging, we can't go to a client site and pull their DC charger apart to show you all the innards and all the different parts. So, but that one we will. So that's a bit of fun if you're into your tech.
Okay, so that's from the 7th of November for 1 week, if anyone's interested in seeing that. Yep, great. Okay, as we kind of, the basis of this project was to pull together all the local government needs so that we met that minimum $1 million funding request from ARENA. Each local government individually wasn't quite high enough to reach that mark to go solo. Except for Sterling, who have still joined us in this bulk project. So we do recommend that we continue to work as a group using the same offering of hardware and software that we've been through today. But we do understand that some local governments may already have charging infrastructure in place that they would like to be consistent with. So if you would not like to be part of the aggregate order, it would be great if you can let me know sooner rather than later. We'll just try and kind of get ready for the next stage of the project, and need to know how many local governments are in with the aggregate order and how many will be progressing through a different supplier or product. So that would be good if you can get in touch with me about that. I think it's Harvey so far that is going with a different, potentially going with a different option.
So just on that, in terms of software, if you do have some existing charging infrastructure, we can also have a look at that and see if, and integrate with the same Charge Hub platform. So if you do have 1 or 2 chargers already installed, we can look at integrating that so everything's on the same common platform with your site. So there are those options as well. So
the software licenses usually last a year. So at the end of that contract, we can turn it over to Charge Hub and integrate it all together so that you can see it all on the one platform.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Just check if there's any other questions that have come through. I don't think so. Anything else before we wrap up for today from the group? Nope. Okay. Thank you all again for joining us, and also for all your wonderful help throughout the project development. I know that I've been in contact regularly for different pieces of information, and I really appreciate everyone's fast response. So we'll all have our fingers crossed for next Thursday. I'll let you know as soon as we know the outcome from the ARENA board. Thank you to Alex and Gary for today for a really informative session. And I'll send through the recording, the presentation slides, and just a reminder to please get back to me with your selected hardware and software by that due date, which is within a week or 2. I need to check on that. Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. See you later.
See ya.